I have two distinctly different hair colors fighting to the death on top of my head. I am aware of that. I am also aware of the fact that they are both losing. So a little over a year ago, I got an ad for something called The Cove, an almost $500 sleep headset that was touted to me as a hug for your mind. Not that there's literally any other information in this ad. It's just kind of floating there, and I guess you're supposed to be like, well, it emits vibrations, so it's got to do something, right? As expected, the website focused more on buzzwords than anything else. Enjoy life more by stressing less. Cove makes peace of mind effortless. Cove plus TV equals evening serenity. I feel like it's such a cop-out to be like, this thing will make your brain calmer. Just, make sure to wear it while doing something you enjoy. Otherwise, it's not gonna work. Like, I wonder what's making me happier right now. Is it the show that I like? Or the piece of plastic I put on my head? The most notable scientific citation they have is something called interoception, the sixth sense that we've conveniently never heard of. Because how can I say that they're wrong if I don't even know what that is? Anyway, at a price point of $490, I didn't end up buying it at the time because it was so expensive and supposedly life-changing. I figured I would save it for its own video one day. But before long, I noticed that the Amazon link I had bookmarked changed it to say currently unavailable. So I thought maybe they're coming out with a newer version. I guess I'll just wait and see. Cut to about a month ago, I checked their website again and The Cove has been discontinued. No! Where am I gonna get my interoception from now? Here is their explanation. In an effort to scale Cove's proprietary technology to reach as many people as possible, we have made the strategic decision to discontinue the Cove product line as it exists today and will no longer be selling directly to consumers. Huh? In an effort to get the Cove to as many people as possible, we will no longer be making or selling them. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, so maybe they explained it more somewhere else? No posts in over 10 weeks, and you can't comment on their Instagram, and you can't comment on their Facebook, and you can't reply to any other tweets. Now, I can't say for certain that they're trying to hide something, but I can say that if you were trying to hide something, this is how you would do it. I tried to look more into it, and all I could find is just like article after article over the past couple of years of people either saying, it kinda helped me, I think, or that it was a huge waste of money. And then all of a sudden, it's just gone? So I don't know what happened for sure. The wording of their statement almost makes it sound like they sold their technology to another company. Maybe because they didn't actually believe in it that much in the first place, so as soon as I got an offer to cash out and disappear, they jumped on the opportunity. But either way, this abrupt departure and nebulous goodbye message is not really a great look for them after spending 2 years promising to change people's lives. Well, it seems we've killed the man, but not the idea. There are now seemingly dozens of copycat headsets and watches and vibrating eggs you put on your chest. A whole slew of little devices that each cost hundreds of dollars, all with the same promise of fixing your broken brain, usually backed up by vague in-house research. I mean, we think it works pretty good. And can you guess what all of these things have in common? That's right, I've gotten ads for every single one of them on Instagram. If I had to guess why, it's because about a month ago, I had the worst panic attack of my life, which honestly is saying something because in the past I've talked about having to go to the ER from panic attacks. But this one was terrifying. For a little over 2 hours, I thought I was going to throw up, pass out, suffocate, die, any or all of those things. And as panic attacks do, it eventually went away and I'm doing a lot better now. I mean, the next day I was feeling great. It was just, that's how anxiety is. It comes up out of nowhere sometimes and it feels like debilitating, like there's nothing you can do to stop it or that it will never go away. So even though I'm in a much better mental state now, words still got out that, sometimes my brain forgets we're supposed to be on the same team, and Instagram has been having a field day with this. Mind Bloom, Brain Luxury Inc., Call Me Go, Mendy, Leaf, Apollo Neuro, Sensate, The Neo Rhythm by Omnipimp, a sleep insert that that's implanted into your body? You think I'm gonna buy a surgery from Instagram? Right away with these ads, there was a pretty big red flag for me when this guy popped up. If you've watched some of my other videos, you may recognize him from a very different Instagram ad for the work oneie.
There's even a flap on the back, just in case.
So it's like, okay, maybe this is not a connoisseur of internet gadgets. This is a paid actor. And that doesn't mean that this product can't work, but it does sort of break the illusion that this is just a candid testimonial.
Working several jobs, I tend to have high stress and anxiety buildup. I decided to try this product right here to help with that. This product is clinically proven to decrease stress and anxiety in 8 weeks or less.
8 weeks is a long time to have something taped to my chest, not even knowing if it's gonna work or not. Also, a lot can change in the span of 8 weeks. Like, there's so many factors that go into mental health that it's almost hard to like even point to this as the sole reason why your stress or anxiety would go down.
The Leaf is a wearable device that utilizes vibration feedback to assist in regulated breathing and increase your heart rate variability.
But all right, product number 1 uses vibration feedback. Product number 2 is the Mindy.
I had been using it probably about 3 times a week for a couple of months, and then went to a conference with my husband. I was sitting there listening and thought, okay, pay attention and focus. And as I did that, I realized I was focusing.
All right, that's very anecdotal.
The Mindy is working.
At least the other one, they said vibration feedback. This one, she's just like, I put it on my head 3 times and then I was able to listen better at a conference. The headset is used to measure your brain activity. It automatically connects to Mindy's app. Okay, but what does it do? Follow your progress and get lifestyle recommendations that help you boost your training and brain health further. Okay, but what does it do? Controlling mood, increasing focus, improving sleep. But how? How does it do those things? The training game shows what's happening in your brain. Simply focus to make the ball rise. Okay, so it doesn't like do anything to my brain, but it can measure my brain's activity. I can sort of train myself to focus by rewarding my brain when it does a good job, I guess. Up next, we have another headset. It's called the NeoRhythm.
I swear by my NeoRhythm.
Notice big differences. I'm able to fall asleep faster.
Okay, so it helps you sleep.
Able to get a lot more work done.
Okay, so it helps you stay awake.
This little miracle of a device has kept me up for the past 8 hours.
Okay, so it keeps you from sleeping.
I was really skeptical. Like, it looks like a Halloween costume, let's be real. But I have to say, I think it's actually working.
All right, well, I mean, if she thinks it's working, then I gotta spend $300 on it. NeoRhythm is a pulsed electromagnetic field therapy device that emits corresponding dominant and accompanying frequencies to which the brain synchronizes, creating a perfect mental environment for the desired state of mind. The fuck? I guess I'm just skeptical on how the same device could help you do 2 opposite tasks. How does it know whether I'm trying to sleep or stay awake? Well, let's see the reviews. I like the idea, I just have not felt any benefits or difference from using the device. Seems to be a scam. The product does not have an efficacy beyond that of a placebo. It's hard to know if you're improving as there is no feedback. My experience so far has been no different than if I'd purchased a really expensive piece of plastic with an LED light on it. I've tried almost daily for several months as a sleep aid, but can't say I've noticed any difference. Damn. But still, way more people seem to swear by it than the amount of people that think it sucks. Maybe they're just doing it wrong. Maybe they're just stupid. So those are things you put on your head. You've also got the Apollo that you put on your wrist.
Why I can't go a day without this wearable. It improved the quality of my sleep. I've never slept better than when I started using the Apollo wearable.
Okay, so it helps you sleep.
It helps me focus when I'm working. My productivity has almost doubled since buying the Apollo wearable.
Okay, so it helps keep you awake.
It's kind of like a wearable hug for your nervous system.
I mean, that sounds good, but like, what does that mean? Like, I don't want to hear a metaphor of what it's like. I just want to know what it does. So this one is the one I've heard the most about. I've heard it mentioned on podcasts before. It's also the most expensive out of all these products, although they're all about the same price. So we'll see. Product number 5, we've got the Sensate, which is described as a pebble that emits infrasonic vibrations to tone the vagus nerve and improve overall well-being. From what I can tell, you put it on your chest while meditating, and then it like makes you calmer over time. Now, if this is a product you have to use while meditating, it's it's hard to really know if it's actually doing anything, right? Because meditation in itself is something you can do to calm yourself down. It doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. So if you meditate with this egg on your chest and then you feel better, was it the egg or was it the meditation? Who's to say, you know? Guess there's no way to prove it. And then the last product is called the Calm Go. It's pretty different from all the others, but kind of has the same goal. Everything's better now.
So how do you look so calm? I use Calm Go. It's a little device that helps calm you down when you're anxious.
Okay, so it's like an inhaler that you breathe into and you're having a panic attack, and I guess it smells good. The thing is, though, like my first impression of this is that out of all of these products, this would be the most helpful because it doesn't rely on doing some invisible thing like emitting magnetic rays into your brain. I can't see that, so I don't know if it's actually doing that. Whenever I'm anxious, the first thing I'll try to do is like pay attention to my breathing. I'll breathe in slowly and breathe out. And if that's what this thing is helping you do, then like, even though it's overpriced and you can breathe for free, at least it's like doing a physical thing to help you. So you probably notice I'm a little skeptical of almost all of these products. I want to believe that the science is all true and it's all legitimate. I want to believe that these companies truly just set out to help people on their journey. But let's be real about it. As more and more people talk about mental health struggles, there are other people who look at that as a new market to target. It is an ever-growing demographic of people who are probably seen as easily exploitable. So that's why I'm a little hesitant to just be like, oh boy, all this stuff is gonna fix my brain. Because you wanna know how much money I spent on 6 devices? $1,462.96. $1,462.
Hi, welcome to the unboxing couch. This is where I will take things out of a box and put them on my head. Now, any mathematicians watching may have noticed that I bought 6 products and yet I only have 4 boxes. What's up with that? Looks like DHL had an issue delivering the Neorhythm and it's currently stuck in Slovenia. And the Sensate Egg Ball is on back order. You'd think maybe they could have told me that before I paid for it, but then, you know, I might not have bought it and then they wouldn't get any money. So why would we tell you that? Usually I would try to be a little bit more understanding about this. I know that there's supply chain issues. I know that things get delayed all the time. But I do feel like if you're gonna market yourself as like the we made this product because we care about people company, then, you know, maybe you should have slightly higher standards. At the very least, once you're aware of the fact that you don't have any of a product left, maybe stop taking orders. Even though I have no idea when my Sensate will show up, I can still go on the website and buy another one. Why is that? You see what I'm saying? It doesn't really seem like you care that much about people's mental health when you're willing to just hoard their money for an indefinite amount of time. So I don't think I'm gonna get this one in time to include it in the video, which is unfortunate because I think it might help alleviate some of the stress that it is causing me. But honestly, I don't know if I had super high hopes anyway for a product whose worst reviews are all like, it's broken, it broke, and the best reviews are like, it was great until it broke. Hey, it can't stop working if you never get it in the first place. Mindy was one that you put on your head, right? I'll start with that. What is the point of this? It's in a box, wrapped in bubble wrap, inside another box. And then for extra protection, they put in 1 sheet of paper. This is how it arrived in one piece. Oh, it's beautiful. Finally, I can pay attention at the conference. Welcome to Mindy. Inside this box, you have one of the very first Mindy devices to ever see the light of day. Guess they haven't sold that many. Important product and legal information. This product is illegal to use. Good to know. Now here's the goods right here. Ow. I don't think I'm supposed to put it on my head yet, but obviously I'm gonna put it on my head. So this one has no information on it. I just have to download an app. Ooh, the app has a 3.6, not great. And from all I know about this, like the whole thing is the app. So if the app sucks, then the product is useless. So that's not a great sign. Mindy doesn't have enough variety. It is currently only the ball game and 1 music piece. For something you are encouraged to do at least 3 times a week, 5 minutes a session, I wish there was more. For the price, I feel like this hurts the experience and desire to use it. That's a good point. Welcome to Mindy. Let your brain health journey begin. Great news. There's an update available. Is that great news? It's a headset right above your eyebrows. Tighten as much as possible. Fuck. It's already pretty tight. It's not super comfortable, but I'm here for results, all right, not comfort. No pain, no gain, even with your brain. Avoid bright light. Oh, not sure that's really an option. All right, the movement of the ball represents your brain activity. Ball rises a few seconds after you increase your brain activity. Win stars by sustaining your brain activity. I want to win some stars. Do they work on the Jeremy Renner app? I don't know how to make myself focus more. Whoa, I did it. Oh, I suck now. Don't get me wrong, I love that I'm getting stars, but I don't know what I'm doing to earn them. I'm just gonna shut up and focus. It worked. Oh no, oh no. I'm plummeting right now. 58? I failed? I guess the thing is, like, I don't know how to be good at it. Like, I understand that if it goes up, I'm doing well, and if it goes down, I'm sucking ass, but I don't know what I'm doing to cause either of those things. The only thing I do know is that it's on so tight I can feel my pulse in my forehead, and I don't love that. Okay, at least though, it gave me a metric, it gave me a starting point. I can do this every day for a couple weeks and see if I get better at it. Set a weekly goal. 7 days. I'm doing it every day this week. Add the weekly goal to my home screen? Aw, no. So you're supposed to do this like every day when you first wake up and then go straight to work and have like a giant like bruise on your forehead. So I've got something for my head. Now I need something for my wrist. I gotta stop trying to figure out how stuff works before just reading the instructions. We recommend having the Apollo wearable gently vibrating on your body for at least 3 hours a day. I have 2 watches? I look like such a dork. I look like I'm under house arrest. No, officer, it's not like that. I just have anxiety. Apollo's modes deliver a novel touch therapy that signals safety to your brain through your sense of touch, restoring balance to the nervous system and helping you bounce back faster. Does this have an app too? 3.5? That's even worse. You know the worst thing about making these videos is, every time I sign up for something, every time I buy something, I start getting spam emails from them. I'm gonna get so many emails. I don't want any emails. Ever. Okay, I can feel it vibrating when I touch it, but I don't feel it vibrating on my wrist. I guess I kind of feel it. It's like really light. Adjust intensity until vibrations are noticeable but not distracting. It's a little distracting, I'll say. Do I want energy and wake up, social and open, clear and focused? Let's do clear and focus, all right? So it's just gonna vibrate on my wrist, but like really gently? Hi, me from the future. All my hair fell off. Don't ask any questions. So I wanted to look a little bit more into some of the research that these companies are citing. Like for the Apollo, they've got a pretty small study here, only 38 participants, but they're touting a 25% increase in focus. Interesting. I didn't think that's something you could measure with a number, but you know what they say.
Science is whatever we want it to be.
All right, let's check out the abstract. And it is behind a paywall. It's gonna cost me $31 to actually see the study that they are bragging about. Awesome. Here's some more preliminary studies. These seem to be promising results. Now let's go to the study itself, where you can see that the results have not been published. So where are they getting these numbers from, huh? It's not over yet. Now, to be fair, these numbers are positive, I'll give them that. At the very least, it doesn't seem to be making things worse for people. But wait a minute, what the hell is an Aura Ring? Another $400 device? Do I have to have both in order for this thing to work? I'm running out of money. Speaking of which, how the fuck does this wristband cost $400? All it does is kind of vibrate. And I guess it has Bluetooth in it too, so it can connect to your phone. You know what else has Bluetooth and the ability to vibrate? A $35 Xbox controller. There's no way it costs even $100 to make one of these things. It's not like it's an all-in-one device either. It doesn't track any of the data that it is supposed to be having an effect on. You need to buy another device to go with it in order to be able to tell if it is working. Now, I'm not saying these companies shouldn't be able to profit. There's a lot of work that goes into production and marketing and coordinating these studies that get hidden behind a paywall. But at a certain point, it's like, what are we doing here? Do you even want this thing to be accessible to the people you're trying to help? I don't want to just dismiss this device altogether, because I know that there are promising studies about it. There are a lot of positive testimonials from people. I just think this company could find a way to still be very profitable without pricing it like it's some miracle device filled with state-of-the-art technology. It's a piece of plastic
with a Velcro strap on it. All right, well, I got to do this for 30 minutes, so let's keep opening boxes. Call me go. What does a 3 minutes at the top mean? It only takes 3 minutes to do what? To use it? It only takes 3 minutes to set it up? I'm so excited for how calm I'm gonna be. I got my wrist shaking up a storm. I got this inhaler that smells like lavender. And it only takes 3 minutes.
Oh, hell yeah. It came with a little screwdriver.
And free batteries. I didn't know it was my lucky day. There's a phone number for a free one-on-one training session. All right. Not a great sign. Can't be that hard. I'll figure it out myself. Oh, I'm high as shit. I don't know what I'm doing. When I blow into it, I can feel a little ball inside, and it goes up to the top, and then the light turns blue, and then when I stop breathing, the light turns off, indicating that I'm not breathing, and the ball falls back down because I'm not blowing into it anymore. But what does it actually do? Well, guess that's going off for now. Last but most certainly not least, Leaf Therapeutics with a hole in the back, just in case. Aw, how nice of them. They already gave me a return envelope. They know I'm gonna return it. This was the cheapest product technically, because I think it was only like $99, but that's $99 a month. If I really loved this product and I really felt like it was helping me and I wanted to use it for an entire year, that's $1,200. But we just want to help people. We want to make it easier for people to give us money so we can buy stuff. Oh no. Oh no, there's a lot of 1-star reviews from years ago. Wow, these are from 3 years ago. Super disappointed in this company. There are no instructions and the data is so hard to see and or understand. When I tried to get help, the company tried to sell me coaching. I needed customer service to explain the product. Super disappointed in this company. I think I'm gonna hold off on this until tomorrow actually, because I've got to be somewhere in 20 minutes and I don't want to have, wires dangling from my chest. But thanks to my new upside down watch, I'm gonna be really calm and focused when I get there because my wrist is gently shaking. That's how brains work. Oh, my forehead's so cold. Good thing my other headset just arrived. Oh God, there's so many things. Charge, download the app, sign up, log in, tap once, activate Bluetooth, first use, select and tap, 2 taps to change, 2 taps to repeat. And it's as easy as that. Oh, this is great. I guess I gotta charge it first then. While that's charging, I'm gonna do my Mindy for the day. It's really important that I begin every clip in this video with a giant red mark on my forehead. I think this time I am gonna watch the video. I was too cocky.
Optimize your experience by wearing headphones that cancel out any outside noise. When you start your training, concentrate on the pressure of the Mendy headband on your forehead. Focus on this sensation and hone in on the movement of the ball. Focus your gaze on the movement of the ball, but don't place too much emphasis on its upward movement.
Okay, but here's what I don't understand. I've used this a couple times. If I just focus on the ball, I'm not in a flow state. I'm waiting for the ball to do something, but then I'm the one in control of the ball, but I don't know how to control the ball. That makes me reactive. How is that any different than me just like scrolling through Twitter, like waiting to be stimulated by something? If I'm waiting to be stimulated by the ball, I'm not doing anything,
Making Mendy a habit and including it into your wellness routine will have a positive impact on your progress.
Like you said, I'm gonna put noise canceling headphones on so I'm not distracted. And this should be my best one yet because I'm following all the rules. Hi, me again. Now, I developed a suspicion early on that no matter what I did, the Mindy app was going to tell me that I kept doing better every single day because obviously it wants me to think that it is working. So after a couple days, I decided to see what would happen if I intentionally sabotaged my training. On day 4, I just laid down until I dozed off, and boy was I focused. I mean, look at all those stars. I'm killing it right now. On day 5, I spent the entire session just watching a YouTube video. On day 6, I played RimWorld the whole time. On day 7, I didn't even look at my phone once. I just spent my whole session eating a wrap that I made purposely too big. My best score so far. On day 8, I rode my exercise bike while playing a guitar solo to the Mindy song. And even though I forgot to plug in my actual microphone for this shot, I still knocked that ball game out of the park. I think I cracked the code. Just as I suspected, my score went up incrementally every single day. 58 to 64 to 68 to 71 to 79 to 86. Despite the fact that I wasn't even trying to do any of what the app told me to do, my brain was getting better and better every day the more I used the Mindy. And sure, there's a chance that maybe I really was just more focused every time. Shit, maybe all these products in conjunction with each other are working as intended and my brain has doubled in size. But it's hard not to think that maybe the app is just doing exactly what it's designed to, which is to make you think that you're getting smarter every day and that this was a good investment.
Call me a cynic, but I'm not buying it.
And if you still don't believe me, on day 9, I strapped the Mindy to a container of oatmeal, and you know what happened? Nothing. Actually, it knew that I was trying to deceive it. So I do have to give this thing a little bit of credit for at least being able to tell the difference between a human head and Publix old-fashioned dry oats. It's doing something in there. I'm just not exactly sure what. All right, so this is probably charged enough to get one thing out of it. Gotta download the app. This is too many things for one video. I should have just bought like 3 of them. Oh, yikes. 2.6. Double tap the device. Okay, I heard a buzz. Oh, it's just running now? That's it? It just started? Where do I put it? Oh no, it doesn't fit. It's supposed to sit right here. And instead, it sits right here. And it smells bad. I'm sorry, but it stinks. I think I'm supposed to wear it like this, actually. I can hear it. It sounds like crickets almost. It's like this has really bad branding because it's like, okay, I set it up, but like, what do I do now? It's not giving me suggestions of like what mode to do or when to do it or how often to do it. I'm supposed to just know all this stuff, I guess. I want to enhance mental capacity. I'm trying to get that limitless brain. We're gonna do it for 30 minutes. I'm going to continue the video while my brain just gets bigger and bigger. You guys let me know if I start getting really smart in the next 30 minutes, we'll know why. All right, let me figure out how to get this fucking leaf thing going. Put on torso, find the edge of your ribs. This blurry ass photo is all I have to go off of? Oh, I'm stuck. I'm just gonna say it goes right there, and it's cold. Why do you need my location? So this is like completely dead? Never mind, I can't get it to work until it charges. So should have opened that box earlier. You know, I guess in the future, maybe instead of unboxing everything on camera, I'll unbox it beforehand so I can charge it first. Hey, wait, that's a pretty good idea. Did I only think of that because I got this fucking thing on my head? I really am smarter now. Just gotta grab this one and leaf on top of that, and this guy, and that's the wrong plug. Don't forget one. And now I can relax. All right, let's talk about the leaf. I'm not gonna wait 8 weeks to see if this starts making a difference. I'm gonna return it now. I think it's awfully convenient a company that charges you a monthly fee wants you to be extremely patient with their product. Please pay us at least 3 times before sending it back. And it's not because I think this is a piece of junk. Honestly, it does exactly what it's advertised to do. It tracks your HRV, your heart rate variability, a metric that I had never heard of until it told me about it. And it guides you through these like timed breathing sessions in order to increase the number, because the higher the better, I guess. At least if you Google HRV, it'll tell you it's a big predictor for future health. If the number's high, you'll live forever. If it's low, you might as well dig your own grave now. But upon further research, it seems like there is some debate about what the number actually means. Some people believe everyone just kind of has their own baseline level, and the value in tracking it is simply that when the number starts to trend downward, that can be a sign of a lot of added stress in your life, or even that you might be a couple days away from getting sick before showing symptoms, which is actually really interesting. But anyway, while I'm not 100% sure what to do with the number it gives me, I do know that having an app that I can open up at any time that'll show me how close I am to allegedly dying is probably the worst thing for my mental health. It's kind of like when I first bought an Apple Watch a few years ago and I started obsessing over my heart rate, because up until that point I had never had a device that could track it for me. So then I spent the next few months worrying about how high it was and what that might mean for my health, until one day I decided to just stop looking at it, and then can you guess what happened? It went down. I was causing the problem that I was stressing about by stressing about it. So I'm not gonna make the same mistake again with this thing, although it would be unfair for me to judge them because of that. That's my own issue. So let's say hypothetically I were to keep using this, what would that experience look like? Well, for starters, I would have to tape this device to my chest every day. I have to feel this cold, sticky tape on my torso, what, for the rest of my life? And then when I run out of tape, I'm gonna have to buy more? I'm not gonna do all that. Also, there is a massive flaw with this device, which is that it is touch activated. By tapping it, you can initiate an automated breathing session where it vibrates super hard on your chest for like 3 minutes. I wore this thing for a day and a half. I must have accidentally activated that thing like 25 times, 10 or so of which were while I was asleep. And it kept waking me up. And maybe you're thinking, Drew, surely that is a setting that can be turned off. No, it's not. If I want to use this thing to track my HRV in my sleep, I just have to deal with the fact that it's gonna wake me up a bunch. The funniest thing about this to me is that I used another app to track my sleep quality. So this right here is me just going to bed normally, no devices, just raw dogging sleep. And this is the one and only night that I wore the leaf. Not only did my sleep score go way down, probably because I kept getting interrupted, but my heart rate variability got cut in half. That is the one thing this device is supposed to improve. So I'm thinking, like, what's the end game here? I keep using this device for weeks and hope that that number keeps improving until it gets back to where it was before I started. And then when that finally happens, I decide, gee, I guess I can't live without this device. I guess I'll keep paying them $99 a month forever, because as far as I can tell, there's no way to opt out of the coaching they automatically signed me up for when I bought it. Which also, like, what do I need coaching for anyway? The app tells me how to do it. She didn't even get my name right.
Hey, Andrew.
If HRV is important to you and it's something you'd like to be able to track, then I would recommend getting one of the many devices out there that will track it for you and that you don't have to tape to your chest. And even though all of these devices are more expensive than $99, after a couple months, it will be the same price. And then every month after that, it will be another $99 cheaper, and so on and so forth forever. Who thought of this business model? And why are they not in jail? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go put that in a prepaid envelope. All right, this is gonna be the most positive segment of the whole video. I think the Call Me Go is a pretty okay product. I will not say it's worth $200, but that still makes it the cheapest out of all the products in this video when you consider the fact that you don't have to subscribe to it. I finally figured out how to use it, even though they never answered my phone call. Basically, you just breathe into it until it vibrates, and that means you've exhaled long enough, so then you breathe in, exhale again, so on and so forth for a couple of minutes. Thankfully, I haven't had a panic attack since I got this thing, but the next time I do, I will definitely try to use it and see if it helps at all. Well, the rest of these products have the promise of this sort of silent, long-term effect that you're supposed to just trust is happening and hope that in like 2 months that maybe you might feel some slight difference. They don't do anything to help you if you have a sudden onset of anxiety. This is something that at least has the potential to give you some immediate relief. Again, there are plenty of free ways to accomplish the same exact thing. There are YouTube videos with breathing exercises. You could even just like time how long this tells you to breathe in and out, and then next time count out loud yourself. So I'm not gonna say $198 is some great value for this, but does it do what it's supposed to do? Yes. I can see the practicality in owning one of these. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that, because I have nothing else nice to say for the rest of the video. Boom, you meowed at the door to come in, and I let you in and I closed the door, and now you want to get out? Too bad, you're trapped. My favorite thing about the Apollo is how cumbersome it is to wear on your wrist, because it has to go on the bottom, so it gets in the way of everything. Luckily, the solution is to wear it, that's right, on your ankle. So now every time I walk outside my house, my neighbors do a double take and then sprint in the opposite direction. I didn't commit a crime, Beatrice. I just have trouble focusing. So I've been sleeping with the Apollo and the Neo Rhythm. I've done different combinations. Some nights I'll only wear one. Some nights I haven't worn either of them. Actually, the very first night I had this on my head, which I thought was super uncomfortable. And then I found out You're supposed to put it under the pillow. So that's probably the dumbest I've ever felt. Though it's not like they said that in the app. I had to find that out from a random YouTube video. And if I hadn't found that, I would have just kept putting it on my head every night. But then hold on, and I know this may be a stupid question, but can the electromagnetic pulses even make it that far? Like, I still don't really know how this thing works, but how far do they actually go? Not to brag or anything, but my pillow's pretty thick. Can the pulses go all the way through it? They give you this little magnetic tester that beeps when it's on, which I think it's funny that they feel like they probably have to prove that this thing actually does something, and that's why they give it to us, but that's besides the point. But how it works is that you can only hear it beeping if it's right up next to it. Even if I'm like an inch away, it stops beeping. So you're telling me it has to go all the way through my pillow and pillowcase and skull just to make it into my brain? Shit, what's to stop it from going over to my neighbor's house and getting into their heads? Guess the whole neighborhood's sleeping good tonight. Anyway, for me at least, it seems like it has no effect. As you can see, I am physically incapable of having medium quality sleep. I either sleep amazing or terrible. Just for the sake of being thorough, I'm gonna keep experimenting with these things for the next couple of months, and I'll let you know in a future video if anything drastic changes, but for the time being, I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of these wearables. There are people who say that they felt relief within seconds of putting this thing on their neck, and like the third time I put it on, I got a headache. I'm not trying to spend $300 on a headache. I don't want that shit for free. Out of curiosity, I looked up a few reviews of the product on YouTube, and it kind of seemed like all of them had affiliate links in the description, which sort of means that they're incentivized to say positive things about the product. Even still, I thought it was funny how many of the reviewers would say things like, this technology is groundbreaking. It's so cool. It didn't do anything for me, even though I wore it for 3 weeks, but maybe if you buy it, you'll have different results. Now, the thing about mental health is you can't see it. To everyone else around you, it's invisible. That's why even though it has been heavily destigmatized, no matter what, there will always be people who look at you and say, you're not depressed, you're just lazy. Or like, anxiety's not real because I don't have it, and I'm the main character. But because brain health is invisible, it's impossible for me to prove that these products don't do anything. Like I said, there's people online who say they bought one and it changed their life. I would love it if these things worked perfectly for everyone all the time and it made all our lives better. That would be amazing. I would love it if I could put a piece of plastic on my head and never have anxiety again. But I worry that because it's so clear how hit or miss these devices are, that maybe there might be some placebo effect going on. And look, if it works, it works. That's great for those people, right? Because if it is a placebo effect, that means for everyone who bought it and didn't get anything out of it, all it's done is made their lives worse because they still have anxiety, but now with $400 fewer dollars. What I will say is that I think there's legitimacy in just having something to focus on when working towards a goal. A lot of the time with mental health, it kind of feels like the only thing you can do is just wait for it to get better, or you end up in a depression loop where you don't have the motivation to do any of the things that may make you feel less depressed. That was a story of my life for like 2 years. So there probably is something beneficial just in scheduling a task every day. Maybe part of it is the task itself, and part of it is the sense that you're actively working towards something. Like, these things don't do anything unless you tell them to. So when you sit down to work and you're like, I need to be more focused, I could try putting this thing on my wrist and activating focused and energized mode, and then, maybe I'll get more work done. And maybe on the other end of the spectrum, because I went into this so resistant and so skeptical, it's kind of my own fault that this didn't work for me because I wasn't allowing my brain to take on any change. It's sort of the whole I can't help you if you're not willing to help yourself thing. Although that's me really trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Anyway, to recap my experience, I think the Mindy would be a bad investment for most people. I think the Leaf would be a bad investment for anyone. I think the NeoRhythm is a little too risky to try out yourself because it seems like a lot of people have no sensitivity to these kind of devices, and even if you want to return it for a refund, you have to spend upwards of $60 to ship it all the way back to Slovenia. I think the Call Me Go has a very niche use, but a use nonetheless, and the Apollo is probably the most overpriced product I've reviewed on this channel since the MoonPod. I doubt even the biggest believers in this wristband can honestly say that they think this is worth what it costs. It feels so light and cheap in your hand. Just yesterday, I got an ad for almost the same exact type of product. And I don't know anything about this one, but they were charging $90 for 2 of them. And they're also just little watches that vibrate. Sure, maybe this one knocks it out of the park. Maybe it's way better, but is it $350 better? I doubt it. So as a company focused on people's well-being, if you can afford to charge substantially less for a product and still profit from it, why aren't you doing that? It seems like you've arbitrarily tacked on this mental health tax because you know that your target audience might just be desperate enough to spend all that money anyway. And so no matter how effective these things prove to be, I cannot comfortably get behind them. To me, this whole business model seems extremely exploitative. That being said, I'm curious to hear if you guys have bought anything like these and if you've had similar or hopefully better experiences. It's always hard to tell exactly what the consensus for something is, when from past experience, I know that some of these websites heavily moderate their reviews. And also half of these products don't even show reviews. They just show a handful of testimonials at the bottom and call it a day. Wow, this product is approved by 3 out of 3 people? Exciting news, everyone. I put my cat on a shirt.
She has no idea she's on a shirt.
Get yours today at drewgoodenshop.com.
Hey guys, welcome back to Watch Mojo's Top 10 Days of the Week. Number 4. Thursday. I love horror movies. I think it's such a fun genre. The experience you have while watching one is so much different than just about any other type of movie. It's funny to look back on all the stress I felt over the years while watching horror movies because, objectively speaking, I wasn't in a stressful situation. I was just sitting on my couch, scared because of something on the TV. Okay, turn it off. Close your eyes, dude. There's no danger here. Idiot. Some of my all-time favorite movies are horror movies, but also some of my all-time least favorites. Let me tell you about the 2021 Netflix original, There's Someone Inside Your House. There are a lot of things that I hate about this film, but perhaps nothing more so than the title being a complete lie. No, there's not someone inside your house. This movie barely takes place inside of one. You can't just come up with a cool title for a movie and then write a script that has nothing to do with it. I mean, apparently you can because that's what they did, but I don't think you should be allowed to do that. I think they should be in jail. The opening scene was actually pretty good, and from what I can tell, what they named the entire movie after. It opens on a static shot of what seems to be the only house for miles. Truck pulls into frame, guy starts an egg timer, takes a little nap, and when he wakes up, his phone is gone and it's been replaced by the timer. Who put that there? So he goes downstairs where he sees that the front door is wide open. Oh shit, his car's gone? Don't like that. If I didn't know any better, I'd say there's someone inside his house. Anyway, he dies pretty hard and then they play the opening credits. At this point though, I'm invested. Like, this was a creepy and well-directed opening that set the stage for what should have been a much better movie. The synopsis is that there's a secret killer who's also sort of a secret killer in that he kills people who have secrets. The first guy's secret is that he violently assaulted someone else on the football team, almost beat the guy to death. The second person who gets killed is the popular girl who tries very hard to seem open-minded in public but has a secret white supremacist podcast. Got it. So we're killing people who are doing something harmful to others in private. That's the theme here. Until the third murder, which isn't that at all. One of the only likable characters thus far gets murdered because he has a pill addiction. Okay, send him to rehab then. Addiction doesn't inherently make you a bad person, especially if you're not hurting other people while you do it. Why is he getting murdered over his own personal struggle? Also, this happens at a party where everyone else is underage drinking and smoking. Is that not held to the same standard? Kind of seems like everybody's intoxicated here. But unfortunately, the movie continues. There's now a fourth victim whose secret is, get this, he's gay. So now I'm really confused about the politics of this murder. So you hate Big Pharma, you hate racism, and you also hate gay people. Which side are you on, man? Also, the guy he stabs in this scene was the one who got his ass kicked by the first guy. So you kill one person for doing a hate crime, and then you commit a worse hate crime? Who the fuck wrote this movie? It's around this point where we learn that the main character, Makani, also has a secret past of her own. She was involved in some kind of hazing incident where she drunkenly pushed another student into a bonfire that almost killed her. So now we would be worried about her if this movie gave us any reason to give a shit. But I certainly don't care. She miraculously survives, tells her friends about her secret, and now there's time for one last confrontation. And if I wasn't mad at this movie already, this scene would be the thing to put me over the edge. So they go to a cornfield maze that's on fire and drive a car through the fire. Which I don't think is something you can do, but this movie's making me doubt any scientific knowledge I've ever had, so who's to say? What really made me mad though is how stupid this movie thinks we are by foregoing any chance they had at subtlety. We know that the main character has trauma associated with big fires. That's the thing we just learned. So if you're going for symbolism here, just show her face and show the fire and we'll piece together that, oh my God, you're doing a flashback. You're doing a flashback to the scene you just showed 6 minutes ago? Is this movie made for toddlers? I would hope not, because there's a bunch of murders in it. Anyway, turns out it was the angry rich kid this whole time. Who could have seen that coming? I mean, he's probably the only character who could afford to keep 3D printing photorealistic masks of all the victims' faces, but I guess we weren't supposed to think about that until now. Watching this movie for the second time now definitely ruined my day, but I'm not gonna let it ruin my month. Surely there's worse movies out there that could do that. So I had to do a local record store that turned out to have a fantastic selection of horror DVDs and also the 40-Year-Old Virgin, which sounded a little too scary for me. This was the exact mix of classic horror films and straight to DVD garbage that I was looking for. I found some absolute gems here and I could not wait to take them home and force my wife to watch them with me. First up, we've got the 1999 thriller Bats. I love that this movie wastes no time getting to the bats. We have 2 lines out before being absolutely ripped to shreds. Then we cut to a cave in Arizona. Guess what? More bats. I could honestly cry. I've never seen a movie so faithful to its title. We're introduced to 2 of the main characters in this movie, Dr. Sheila Oh no, Jimmy doesn't like bats. Something tells me this is gonna be a really rough day for him. Unfortunately, whatever their mission here is gets cut short when a helicopter lands and a guy named Toby comes out and tells him he needs their help.
I'm Dr. Toby Hahn. We need your help. Immediately.
I have to say, this is the perfect name for someone with that haircut. If you go to your barber and ask them for the Toby, you're gonna walk out of there looking like this. I'm starting to think this movie might have some bats in it. So Sheila the Bat Doctor gets called in to examine the very dead body of the guy killed in the opening scene, where she notices a fang.
This has absolutely nothing to do with bats.
Wait a second, are you saying some kind of bat did this?
I love how many of the scenes early on are just someone being like, I think a bat did this. And someone else being like, bats? Favorite character in this movie by far is Jimmy, who, as we discussed, doesn't like bats and yet chose a career path entirely devoted to them. He's also written to be so dumb. Yeah, now that you mention it, I would kind of like to know what's going on with all these murderous bats. I wasn't interested until this moment. Although everyone's kind of an idiot in this movie, so it's just par for the course.
So you're saying that the bats can only infect other bats? Now that's bullshit.
I'll give them a little bit of credit. There are some scenes that are actually pretty scary. I mean, in general, the idea of, being chased by a giant swarm of flying animals trying to kill you is not the worst concept for a horror movie. It just gets a little silly when they start doing some of the close-ups of the bat puppets.
What'd I tell you? Ugly.
This one they just threw into a cage and shook it around. Apparently the bats aren't just hungry for human blood, they're also smart too. They managed to put a tracking device on one of them and then 2 other bats fly in and kill it. It's absolutely hilarious. This is what filmmaking is all about. Oh no, now they're attacking the whole town. Or actually just flying above it, I guess. They attack a couple people, but for the most part, they're just out there making noise. Absolutely no danger. There's actually multiple people in this scene, kind of intelligence only a bat doctor can have. I like when this cop tries to de-escalate. I bet she's talking about all the bats. Anyway, they turn on the giant refrigerator and manage to outrun all the bats through a cave and up a ladder and down a corridor and up an elevator shaft and out the entrance, all with about a 50-foot head start. Geez, maybe instead of becoming bat scientists, they should have competed in the Olympics, because holy shit. That's the best ending I've ever seen. Actually, that is kind of funny. I was so convinced they were gonna do that thing that bad movies do where they hint at a sequel at the end, just in case. But no. They knew. I think they knew bats would be one and done. As great as that movie was, I'm just glad I can finally watch the behind the scenes featurette and learn how Bob Gunton feels about bats.
They're so ugly. They're nasty looking.
He doesn't like them. I think the 4 out of 10 this movie has on IMDb is just about spot on. But the thing about a 4 out of 10 movie is that it can still get worse. So our journey continues. Up next, we've got Dream Home, and somehow this is actually a pretty substantial step down from Bats. I want you to take a second to really admire the graphic design on this cover. You've got this ancient-looking Victorian house, a ghostly silhouette peering down from the second-story window, a child looking up in fear, the words murder and kill scratched onto the blank part of the DVD cover. None of this is in the movie. Nothing at all. Look at this house, and then look at the house they actually use. Not even close. Right away, I'm getting the vibe that the main goal of this production was to pad the runtime just enough that this can legally be called a movie. During the opening credits, one of the shots they use is of a ghost slowly moving across a gazebo, and it goes on for 39 seconds. Every scene in this movie ends with a fade to black that lasts way too long.
I want that house.
Is it over? But none of the transitions can hold a candle to this one. Listen closely.
Now go call him right now while it's still fresh on your mind.
They forgot to edit that out. So the editing is fantastic, the directing is top-notch, but it's the writing that really sets this movie apart.
Look! Look at the house!
What? Wow, so much is being conveyed in that scene. She wants the house, but he can't even see the house because he's driving. It's heartbreaking.
Leave me alone.
They do such a good job of subtly hinting at her interest in the house.
That house is beautiful and I love it. I want that house. I fell in love with the house. I want it.
I know you really want this house.
Baby, I want that house.
You really want this house, don't you?
Baby, I need this house.
When they made horrible lighting, but then I realized it must have been a creative choice. I think it represents that beneath his sunny appearance, there's something dark lurking in the shadows. Who is this man? And why are they still so hell-bent on buying? Oh, okay. Well, then I won't worry about it. You want to go ahead and buy the house? Yeah, that's a good idea.
Look at this place. This place has got to be at least 80 years old. This place is incredible, Darren.
Wow, look at how dusty and decrepit everything is. It's perfect. This is where the first and possibly only scary moment of the movie happens. What the fuck is happening here? Weirdly, this actually almost works as a creative choice just because of how surreal and unsettling it is. Now, I thought that Faye saw all this as she picked it up, but I would assume that's not the case because if she did, I don't know why the hell she would then put it on. General word of advice to anyone in a horror movie. If you find an old piece of jewelry with a mysterious past, don't wear it. It never ends well. You're gonna take on some sort of curse. While this is happening, Darren heads down to the hardware store to pick up some paint, and he gets to witness one of the greatest line deliveries I've ever heard.
When I first moved into town, my parents used to see a lot of those kids going in and out of that house, and they warned me not to go there.
I don't think we ever seen anybody living there again, considering what happened.
Wow, that's gotta be pretty scary to hear two strangers talking about how haunted your house is. Let's capitalize on this momentum by showing a silent credit card. Hell, all this food came from, because that is not what they were cooking. It kind of looks like the crew didn't have any actual food to prepare in this scene, so they just had her boil a little pot of water and a big pot of water, which she stirs and stirs until it turns into this giant meal. Movies are awesome. After dinner, April politely asks for a tour.
I'm ready for my tour now.
And I love how much of the writing in this movie is either that's good or that's bad.
You just don't know how bad that makes me feel. I really don't have a good feeling about it. It's just that I get this bad vibe when I see it. It's like the thing is tied to something really bad. I just get this bad feeling about that cross.
Also, everyone keeps describing the house as beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's a full house.
They can't get enough of this beautiful home, even though something happened there. But no one will outright say what happened there. They just keep beating around the bush. It's kind of frustrating.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll find out soon enough.
I watched this scene 3 times and I still have no idea what the fuck she's talking about. But finally, after explaining nothing the entire movie, with 3 minutes left, we finally learn what happened to the house. And I can't even pay attention to it because I'm so distracted by how they chose to film it.
When her mother woke up, she went to Juliana's room. They say you can still see the father walking around the house sometimes. As he walked closer to Juliana's bed, when the townspeople found out about this insane man, nothing. They say you can still see the mother.
And the mom was evil too. And the dad was evil too.
Faith! Wake up, Faith!
I'm gonna be honest, I still don't know what happened in this movie. The best thing about Dream Home, besides how good it is getting to read the reviews from like 15 years ago from all the people who are so angry that they paid money to rent this from Blockbuster.
This was the absolute worst movie I have ever seen. I cannot even begin to explain the way I felt when this was over. I was ripped off. The front of the box looks really interesting. The kid on the bike. Oh yeah, why would he have anything to do with this movie? Duh. There's not even one child in this movie. If there were a way to recall movies, this film should be put in a fire. Take my advice, don't rent this movie, buy this movie, or even watch it on cable. I'm sure you can find better things to do for an hour and a half, like ripping your toenails off one by one.
Damn, seems like everybody hated this movie. But 2 out of 10? It can still get worse. And that's where the Curse of the Zodiac comes in. This may just be it. I think this is the worst horror movie ever made. Now, this movie came out in 2007, the same year as the David Fincher Zodiac movie. So I'm pretty sure this only exists to confuse the then patrons of video rental stores. Honey, this is that new Jake Gyllenhaal movie, right? Probably. It's not like we can Google it. We only have internet at home. But even still, this has no business being as terrible as it is. This is barely even a movie. It's directed almost like a music video, but one that's 80 minutes long and has no songs in it. So much of it is just these constant flashing cuts, and every shot is so overly stylized that I don't even know what I'm looking at half the time. They made some truly baffling editing choices. Like, what is even the point of doing something like this?
Randy! Where the hell have you been? I've been looking for you all night.
If I had to guess, I would say that all of this was a conscious effort to distract us from the fact that this movie has no script.
Oh, and by the way, speaking of the couch, you can have the couch.
Yeah.
A stupid pink couch in an orange colored room does not work anymore.
I refuse to believe that the actors are not improvising every line on the spot.
Crazy ain't cool. And it's, you know, normally I'd have fun, you know, hanging out with someone and dating someone that's a little crazy. But this is getting ridiculous.
They're constantly talking over each other or trailing off.
He's trying to, I don't know, he's trying to make us think, I guess.
As far as the plot goes, it is loosely based on the world-famous Zodiac Killer, but it's sort of like the movie someone would make about the Zodiac Killer if they knew nothing about the Zodiac Killer. Like, okay, he's leaving some clues behind, and there's some symbols involved, but also he shows up in this girl's dreams and keeps calling this detective and saying the same 4 lines over and over again.
In my book, 2 + 2 is 3. Maybe you want to meet in the middle, fat fuck. Make it a 4, fat fuck. Your black eyes, pretty girl. Your black hair, pretty girl.
Half the movie is just him yapping about nothing.
The Sandman, a.k.a. Z-Man, a.k.a. Zodiac. My name is Zodiac. Z-O-D.
Although I do like the way he says San Francisco.
I'm sticking around in San Francisco.
I would say my least favorite character is the world's most useless detective. He makes 0 progress from start to finish and is just confused the entire time.
I'm confused.
They could not have come up with a less interesting character. On the flip side, my favorite character is definitely this piano-playing murder victim who made such a bizarre choice on how he would talk.
Do you enjoy the piano? Me too.
You can see him trying not to laugh here.
Whoops. I made a mistake when I was playing.
Honestly, I really don't want to spend that much more time thinking about this movie. It made me feel gross the entire time. It actually made me miss the production value of Dream Home, a movie that had the boom mic in frame most of the time. So this movie was written and directed by Uli Lommel, whose name I'm probably mispronouncing, but let me tell you about this legend. This man acted in over 90 movies. He wrote and directed over 60. And look at this unprecedented run he went on from 2003 to 2012. The sheer consistency with which he was putting out 1s and 2s, you may never see something like this again. I don't know if we'll ever see anyone match this kind of legacy. This is about as badass as it gets. To be so confident in who you are that you can say, yeah, maybe I don't have a story worth telling here, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from making 100 movies. Maybe next year I'll do a deep dive on his entire filmography, but for now, I need a break. This was rough. Well, I hope you all enjoyed watching me suffer through this as much as I hated every minute of it. But if you can believe it, even after watching all of that, you're only now getting to the scariest part of the video. Hey guy, a couple weeks ago I was at an Airbnb trying to figure out what the $200 cleaning fee is supposed to cover if they're just gonna make me do a bunch of chores anyway, when we realized that episode 4 of Severance had just come out. And what great timing. This place had one of those beautiful 85-inch frame TVs that make it look like an art piece on the wall. They had surround sound, they had a telescope pointed at the TV. I couldn't imagine a more perfect place to watch what would turn out to be a slightly confusing episode of television. So we turn it on and instantly we're like, why does this look like shit? I know that this TV costs thousands of dollars, and yet the moment anything moves on screen, it turns into this jumbled, blurry mess. But of course, because this kind of thing has been happening for years, we knew it was because of True Motion, or Motion Plus, or whatever this TV calls that feature, where it smooths out every frame and makes everything you watch look like it was shot on an iPhone. The best thing about this feature is that it's always on by default, and nobody I've ever met likes it. It's also named something different by every manufacturer, which makes searching the menus for it a little adventure every time. Now, I know I'm not even close to being the first person to complain about this feature. It seems like everybody hates it. But that's also why it's so confusing to me. If so many people hate this, why after over a decade are TV manufacturers still forcing this down everyone's throats? How do they benefit from making their product look worse? I remember ecstatically buying this Samsung in 2019 and almost returning it because the default settings made it look so bad I thought it was defective. I just kind of sat there in denial about it for almost a week before being like, this can't be right. There has to be a setting I can change. Tragically though, a lot of people don't know about this setting. They don't realize their TV is actively sabotaging their viewing experience. And if this doesn't describe you, it probably describes someone you know. And by that I of course mean your parents. So sit down with them, explain what's going on, tell them why you get a headache whenever you watch TV with them, and reiterate that it's not their fault. Show them this video by a guy named Noodle.
Let's say it's on twos. The AI doesn't smooth anything between the first and second frames of a single drawing because there's nothing to smooth. They're the same picture. This means that what was originally a perfectly fine 12 FPS animation is now a janky mess.
Or if they'd prefer to hear it from someone they know, have Tom Cruise explain it.
Video interpolation or motion smoothing is a digital effect on most high-definition television.
I'm Tom Cruise. Just make sure they never find out about the whole Scientology thing. You cannot ruin Top Gun for your dad. That movie's very important to him. Now, I will admit, I was a little surprised reading some of the comments on this video, seeing so many people disagree. I didn't know people liked it when the $100 million movie they're watching looks like a soap opera. Now, I understand, of course, from a gaming perspective, people preferring higher frame rates, but I don't think that logic applies to movies. Games are interactive, so generally the smoother something is, the more responsive it feels. But you're not interacting with the movie, you're just watching it. It doesn't need to be perfectly smooth. In fact, I think part of what makes a movie look like a movie is the sort of ethereal nature it has. It doesn't look exactly like the way the world around you does through your own eyes, and I don't think it should. I saw someone say they like it because it shows the flaws in movies you couldn't see at 24 FPS, and it's like, no, the interpolation is creating those flaws. It's not reverting a film back to its original settings. It's not a director's cut your TV's giving you private access to. It's just generating new frames based on what it thinks should go in between the existing ones. That's where the errors come from. You're not watching a more authentic version of a movie because Sony Motion Flow added a bunch of blurry auras around every fast-moving object. The most authentic version of a movie is watching it the way it was filmed. You shouldn't have to change anything. And I think more than anything else, that's what really aggravates me about this feature, is the hubris of it. There are so many deliberate choices that go into making a movie look a certain way. There's so many people involved in those decisions that know way more about cinematography than I do, so I trust their vision. Why can't TV manufacturers do the same? Why do they look at a beautifully shot television show like it has a problem problem that they need to fix. Anyway, this experience got me thinking about new technology in a more general sense and how my excitement towards it has waned over time. Sometimes it seems like we kind of already figured everything out. You can communicate with anyone in the world instantaneously. You have immediate access to every piece of music ever made. You can pay some guy to deliver a cold burrito straight to your door and it only costs $70. This is the peak of humanity, baby. There's nowhere else to go from here, except backwards. So many things now seem to just invent a new problem so they can sell you the solution. Or if we do create something novel and revolutionary, it's only gonna stay that way long enough for us to kill all our competition, allowing us to ruin our thing and make it infinitely more expensive.
There was a time where streaming services seemed like the final frontier of at-home entertainment, a marriage of cost and convenience that made all previous options obsolete. I mean, my DVDs are just taking up space, and even if I wanted to watch something, I gotta get up, dust off my Xbox, navigate a bunch of menus, switch discs every 4 episodes. Netflix is so much better than this. Until, of course, they quadrupled their price and got rid of every show you ever wanted to watch. So slowly but surely, a lot of people are moving away from the unreliable streaming services and going back to physical media. Things like Blu-rays, vinyls, Tooth Tunes. And I've actually begun that migration process myself. But because I'm incredibly stupid, here's how it's going for me so far. I started watching Friday Night Lights for the first time in December. It was something I had wanted to watch for years, but always put off, which is crazy because it's a show about football, which I like, with a bunch of music from Explosions in the Sky, a band I grew up listening to all the time. It kind of felt like they made this show specifically for me, and still I was like, I'll get around to it eventually. It wasn't until a couple of months ago that I finally gave it a chance and got really into it. 12 days before it was going to be removed from Netflix. For the last 2 weeks of December, I binged as much of the show as I could, as quickly as I could, until around 3 a.m. on New Year's Eve. 13 minutes left in the season 2 finale. I was given an abrupt error message telling me that my beloved show was now gone. At this point, I was pretty invested, and I didn't just want to wait until it was maybe on Peacock one day, and I certainly didn't want to spend $2 per episode to digitally own it. So I decided what better time than right now to begin my brand new Blu-ray collection, starting naturally with a show I had yet to watch even half of. So about $37 and 8 days later, my Blu-rays show up at my door and I'm ecstatic. I can't wait to see how season 2 ends. So I pop the disc in my computer, try to play it, and it does not work. Turns out the external DVD drive I bought a couple years ago isn't compatible with Blu-rays, so I'm gonna have to buy another one. No problem, what's another $110? Jesus Christ. Well, I already bought the Blu-rays, I'm not gonna not watch them. So I bite the bullet on the Blu-ray drive. It shows up 2 days later, pop it into my computer, so excited to learn what will become of Brian Smash Williams. That's weird, doesn't seem to work on VLC. Or the Any DVD app. I guess I could spend $20 on Blu-ray player, play Blu-ray, but that one says in its description that it doesn't play Blu-rays. At this point, I'm a little frustrated, but even more than that, I'm confused. So I go where I always turn to in times of crisis, a Google search with the word Reddit thrown onto the end. And believe it or not, even on Reddit, home of some of the most dedicated people on the planet, every single answer I see is, nah man, Power DVD 23 Essential is your only option. There is one way to watch Blu-rays on your computer, and it is with this app. You wanna know how much that app costs? $80. And it's like, I don't want to spend another $80, but I've already spent more than that just to make it to this point. I have to see this through to the end. Anyway, I bought the app, and it works most of the time. Although I should probably say it's been doing this thing now where it tells me my cloud subscription has expired and I need to visit the Cyberlink members zone for more information. So, money well spent. Long story short, I spent $227 to watch a show that I could have seen on Netflix at any point over the past 7 years. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if I like it that much. Also, I know what you're thinking. Drew, couldn't you have just put the Blu-rays into your PS5, you moron? Yes, I could have. But the whole point of watching it on my computer was so I could second screen RuneScape on my other monitor. What part of dopamine addiction do you not understand?
Sorry, that was more of a story about my own incompetence than a rant about the state of technology. So here's a rant about the state of technology. I live in Orlando, Florida. My favorite basketball team is the Orlando Magic. They play basketball 20 minutes from my house, and I am not allowed allowed to watch them on TV because I live too close. I can sign up for NBA League Pass and watch any other team play except for the one in my city because of blackout restrictions. What do you think, I'm stalking them or something? Whoa, this guy's obsessed. He lives right down the street. I don't understand this restriction, and frankly, I never will. Is the point to incentivize me to buy a ticket to go see them in person? They play 41 home games a year. Am I supposed to go to all of them? And if that was the point of it, they wouldn't also black out road games unless you expect me to travel with the team. Guys, do you want me to follow them around or not? I'm getting mixed signals here. Anyway, here's what I've had to do the past 6 years as a paying customer in order to watch my team play. First, I had to sign up for Sling TV because they were the only ones with the Fox Sports Florida channel. Then those two couldn't reach an agreement, so I had to switch to Fubo TV because they were the only ones with the Fox Sports Florida channel. Then those two couldn't reach an agreement, so I had to switch to YouTube TV. Can you guess where this is going? Yeah, they couldn't reach an agreement, and now I can't watch it anywhere, this time in the middle of a season. So out of desperation, I sign up for NBA League Pass, which again prohibits me from watching my team because I live too close. The workaround here is using a VPN to change my location to somewhere else. So now I'm paying for 2 different services just so I can watch the least popular team in the NBA. Adam Silver should be ecstatic that there are freaks like me out here. He should have a photo of me in his office that says #1 customer. So what do they do to thank me for my loyal patronage? Block the use of VPNs 6 months later. Do you guys want my money or not? I'm trying so hard to give it to you. Okay, now we're in 2022, and finally, there's a streaming app specifically made for people to watch their local team play. It's a miracle. It's called Bally Sports, and it is the worst app I've ever used in my life. It freezes during commercials. The feed cuts out constantly, especially in the 4th quarter. Not that I wanted to watch that part anyway. It refuses to remember my login information in between games. Did I mention they play 82 of these every year? I'm getting real tired of typing in my password every night. While all of this is happening, behind the scenes, Bally's parent company is not doing so well. They lose over $1.2 billion in 3 months. What, were they setting it on fire? Fast forward a few more months to 2023 and Bally is filing for bankruptcy. Well, it was nice while it lasted. Nope, they're still going, somehow. Turns out I don't know what bankruptcy actually means. What I do know is that this probably doesn't bode well for the growing list of technical problems they apparently don't have the money to address. So that brings us to today, where after 3 tumultuous years, I'm excited to report that the app is now a little bit more reliable. But also it's been rebranded to the FanDuel Sports Network, which means every second of every broadcast is pretty much just one big ad for gambling. I should make a video about that. I know that this is one very specific gripe about a very specific problem, but I feel like there's so many things like this now. So many companies that seem to get their rocks off from making us have to jump through hoops in order to do anything. They're constantly merging with some other company so they can both be sold to a third company. Content bounces around from streaming service to streaming service like a hot potato. We tried to streamline everything and only made it more complicated. I can't keep up. I'm just a lowly consumer. Everything's so confusing now.
I know that part of the feeling I'm about to describe is just because of my diminished sense of wonder as I've aged, but I feel like there used to be a time when technology was a lot more exciting to me. I mean, what could be more fun than a gadget? Well, besides a gizmo, of course. But it seemed like most things that came out had a genuine purpose, that there was more of a collective desire to push humanity forward, to provide solutions to actual problems. And I know that this is all still happening, but it seems like so many innovations now are just new ways to manipulate people, or spy on people, or replace people altogether. I'm not excited about what might be created in the future as much as I'm fearful of it. I'm fearful of what AI is threatening to do to every job on Earth. I'm fearful of all these humanoid robots that keep popping up. What if one of them tries to kill me? Or worse, what if we fall in love? How am I supposed to explain that to people? For every OLED Steam Deck and surprisingly powerful tiny Mac computer, there seem to be 10 wearable AI companions, or a TV that's free because it never stops showing you ads, or what if you could wear your phone on your head so it could never stop showing showing you ads. I remember when touchscreen smartphones came out, and I practically started drooling at the idea. This device, which I hate more than anything in the world, is incredible. It's truly amazing what this thing is capable of, but now the question is, where do you go from here? The jumps in phone technology have become pretty unnoticeable, despite how hard they're trying to get us to notice them. When we went from landlines to cell phones, that was crazy. When they added a full keyboard so you didn't have to spend 30 seconds typing one word, that was crazy. And then they added email and a really good camera and a touchscreen and a GPS and the internet and a compass and now you can pay for parking on here, and you can download apps that stop you from spending too much time on other apps. Oh man, that line's really starting to slow down, huh? And this phone costs 4 times as much as this one did? No, that makes sense. If you Google "has technology peaked," their AI overview will tell you, no, of course not. I'm getting stronger every day. And consider this your second strike, Drew. That's awfully ominous. And what was my first? No, of course technology hasn't peaked, but it does feel like it's starting to level off a bit. The improvements between video game consoles used to be astronomical. Now I end up on a side-by-side comparison video squinting as hard as I can trying to spot any difference. In 1995, video games looked like this. 10 years later, they look like this. 10 years after that, they look like this. And in the 10 years since, they look like, wait, which one is a new one? And I know I'm viewing this from a consumer standpoint. I'm completely oblivious to the strides being made in medicine and science and interplanetary defense mechanisms. But it just seems like whenever a new thing comes out, we have to pay a lot for very little. Technology has gone so far in the wrong direction that people are now trying to find ways to go back. Physical media is making a comeback. Dumb phones are making a comeback. As people become more disillusioned to the future that was promised to us, the best way to break out of it is to recapture a sense of simplicity. And not all of this is just nostalgia. I think some of it speaks to the fundamental difference in how things are made now. You used to be able to own things. Now almost everything is borrowed. You're not buying a product, you're subscribing to a service. I don't own a bunch of music because I'm paying Spotify every month. I'm just temporarily given access to music until I stop paying and then have nothing to show for it. And even if you do buy a physical product, there's no guarantee it's gonna stay in the condition it was in when you bought it. A lot of things now can be remotely updated or even deactivated. The Spotify car thing completely bricked when they stopped wanting to deal with it. A few months ago, Roku forced an update onto all of their TVs, making it so you can't turn the motion smoothing feature off. This company just announced they're gonna start charging a monthly fee so anyone who already bought their thermostat can continue to use it. We're buying things that can be made worse or taken away from us whenever the manufacturer feels like it. So what are we even buying anymore? These things aren't designed to last because the entire economic system in this country is based on perceived shareholder value. If I sell you a product that you only have to buy once and then get to keep it forever, how will I get more money from you in the future? How will line go up if transaction over? So things break or become obsolete. A lot of tech devices are more affordable than they used to be, but they're also more disposable. The interface on your 4-year-old smart TV suddenly takes 10 times longer to navigate. Your iPhone 12 suddenly crashes 5 times a day. No, we're not doing that on purpose. But it does kind of seem like a sign that it's time to buy a new one, right? And this isn't a conspiracy or an exaggeration. Technology is making us dumber. Rarely while using your phone are you in the driver's seat, except when you're texting while driving, which is a lot of fun. But it's mostly a passive activity. More often than not, you don't open an app in order to do a specific thing. You open an app and just see whatever it chooses to show you. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. Either way, the past hour of your life was entirely decided by an algorithm. You're not thinking for yourself, you're not making a decision for yourself, you just turn off your frontal cortex and submit to whatever Mark Zuckerberg has curated for you. And the more we're conditioned to accept this relationship, the easier it is to sell us an AI agent that does all of our thinking for us and that we learn to trust implicitly. I mean, how am I supposed to be excited about technology when this is the direction we're headed in?
It seems like everything is slowly trying to turn into everything else. A new app will come along with one specific niche use and then inevitably get turned into yet another form of social media. Like the Shop app. I've been using this for a couple years because I like the idea of having one account that works across multiple websites. But now, of course, it's just like another thing designed for you to scroll through. I open it up to see how far away my pants are, and it's like, oh hey, you want to buy something else while you're here? You want some Alpha Lion Superhuman Hulk juice? What about Goof Juice? Chug Juice? Oh, I know what you want. A little cake shaped like Texas. They also give you rewards, but it amounts to virtually nothing and is really just an excuse to send you more push notifications. Hey, don't forget to use that 14-cent credit before it runs out. It only works on this website that sells hoodies for dogs. You open up the Ring app so you can see who's knocking at your door, and they're like, hey, you want to see this funny video of a goat? Venmo defaults to the page showing you how many of your friends had pizza this week. Why do I need to know that? I bought that light in the corner a few months ago, and the only way to control it is through an app. And you're probably thinking, certainly there's no social media aspect to an app that turns lights on and off, and that might just be the dumbest thing you've ever said. Of course it has its own news feed and hashtags. Of course there's a pop-up telling me to take the Govee app user experience survey so I can earn 50 Govee points and a chance to win Govee merch. App is a goddamn joke now. Worst change to an app that could ever happen. Can't even remember my dream view settings anymore. May as well check all my lights in bin if this is the only way to control them. What a joke. Well, I wanted to respond to this comment saying that I'm just here for the Govee points, hashtag Govee rewards program, but that feature is only available to savvy users. So I agreed to the savvy terms and conditions, and they congratulated me on becoming a savvy user. You're following all of this, right? Instagram has its own TikTok feature. Twitter has its own TikTok feature. And you probably guessed this because you'd never make the same mistake twice. The Govee app has its own TikTok feature. Everything is the same thing, and I'm tired of it. These apps are all so intent on monopolizing your time that they'll design it in a way that makes it hard for you to leave. You click a YouTube link on the Facebook Messenger app, and instead of just taking you there, it'll be like, oh, I guess you want to open that app instead, huh? All right, here's a button. It doesn't work though. No, I'm just kidding. It will work if you click it 15 times. And then it will take you to the App Store so you can open the homepage of YouTube and just search for that video yourself. Was that helpful? Good, it wasn't supposed to be. I just noticed the desktop Instagram website has incorporated that thing that's supposed to prevent you from accidentally exiting out of like a checkout screen or a form you're halfway through filling out. But they're just using it anywhere on their website. Literally scrolling through the homepage, I try to leave, they grab my arm and say, no, are you sure you're done with us? We were just about to show you a really cool ad. Are you sure you don't want to see what it looks like? Sometimes I feel like you don't even like me anymore. It's no wonder so many people are trying to turn the clock back on technology and return to a simpler era. Not so far back that you gotta like eat bugs and sleep on a log, but just back to when these modern conveniences were still exciting and didn't feel so predatory and manipulative. Technological advancements don't feel fun anymore because of the motivations behind so many of them. It doesn't feel like we're trying to make life better when almost everything is designed to be as addictive as possible. These things aren't supposed to be fun additions to your life. They're supposed to be a new thing for your life to revolve around. And no amount of profit or growth will ever be enough. It seems like there's more thought put into how you can continue to charge people for something they already own than to just expand the experience of it in the first place. But hey, at least we're using all that extra revenue to pay the employees, right? Right? Sorry, I'm doing that thing again where I try to provide catharsis by ranting in a critical yet lighthearted fashion, but just end up spreading more negativity in the process. So I'd like to end this video by highlighting some technological innovations that I'm thankful for. Number one, fiber internet. In 2018, we lived in a house where it would take me 2 hours to upload a 15-minute YouTube video. And during that time, no other device in the house could connect to the internet because I was using all of it. Now I get like 2 gigs per second and it never goes out. That's a luxury I know I take for granted. Now I should probably say that AT&T almost electrocuted me when they were digging in our front yard, burst into a water pipe, flooded half the neighborhood, and knocked down a power line, leaving live wires dangerously close to the newly installed moat they surprised me with. But they did offer me a $1 credit when I called to complain. So I wish I was joking about that. They destroyed our lawn and then offered $1 single as an apology. And you know what? They're still not as bad as Spectrum. Number two, our Nespresso machine.
This is the world's greatest invention. It's all the convenience of a Keurig, except it doesn't taste like burnt garbage, and you can actually send the pods back when you're done to have them recycled.
I mean, allegedly. They probably just throw them in the ocean like I do.
I can't believe these pods are only moderately more expensive than K-Cups. They taste 100 times better, and you don't have to wait 45 minutes for it to cool off. Side note, how much money do you think Sabrina Carpenter turned down to not do a collaboration with them? They had to have asked, right? That's that mean espresso? It was right there. What are you guys waiting for? Some stupid YouTuber to promote your shit for free? Never gonna happen, bozo. Number 3, electric razors. Why was I scraping the shit out of my face for so long? These things aren't just better, but they're cheaper in the long run because you don't have to change the blades all the time. And I can use it on my balls.
Oh, was that it? It was just the 3 things?
Sorry, I thought I'd have more time to think of an outro here.
Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you want. As always, YouTube gives me $100 for every new subscriber, which I like to withdraw as cash and use as kindling to help make it through this brutal Florida winter. So remember, every time you subscribe, you're keeping me and my family warm for a couple of minutes. Thank you for watching. Bye. Hey, guy. Every day I get pulled deeper into a social media anger vortex that is surely knocking years off my life, and I'm almost positive my inability to sit alone with my thoughts for more than 5 seconds at a time without pulling out my phone and submitting to an endless scroll is making me dumber, sadder, and more anxious. But the thing is, if I didn't do all that, then I never would have found this guy.
At a restaurant, while waiting for your food to arrive, your fingers can have a dance party on the table.
His name is Nathan Bailett, and he's the best. He's slowly been taking over Instagram the past couple of months with his awesome ideas, and they're all so brilliant. But what really sets him apart is the time he gives you to soak it in.
An upside-down glass can become a little plate.
That's what it looks like up close.
I think there should be an award for the weirdest song of the year. And they could call it the Grammy-O-Weird. Have a great day. A thumb is different than the rest of the fingers.
These aren't just silly thoughts that you can gloss over in a couple of seconds. He's asking the questions that, quite frankly, no one else in this country has the guts to.
When fish swim, where are they going? Cupboards. Wait, what is it? Oh, cupboards are shelves. Cupboards? Cupboards are just shelves.
That's what I'm saying. Every time I'm having a bad day and I go to Nathan's account and just stare into those eyes that have never once blinked, my stress just melts away.
I don't know. Movies. Movies.
I will say though, sometimes it's not all just fun and games with him. There have been instances where I've been a little worried. You all right, buddy? Okay. Just making sure.
Let's say you're in the future and you have to get on a spaceship to travel to Mars, and you can only take one movie with you. What movie would you take to Mars?
Like, I'm not really sure what he's laughing about in that one. He didn't say a joke. He just asked a pretty normal question. Oh, wait, he's coming. Hi, Nathan. We love your videos.
Nothing to see here. Keep scrolling.
Okay.
I would never say to a guest, please make yourself at home. I don't want people sitting on my couch in their underwear.
Out of all his videos, there's really only one that I'm a little bit iffy on.
If you could be in a horse costume with a celebrity, which celebrity, and would you be the front or the back?
Yeah, I would have maybe kept that one in the draft. If you could be nose deep in a celebrity's ass, whose would it be? And would you want it to smell good or bad?
Sometimes I wonder, if we had 3 arms, how would that change lovemaking?
Damn, this guy's actually kind of a freak.
My friend is a scientist. He studies condom mechanics or something.
That's a great joke. I wonder what the comments say. That's kind of weird. What about this one?
Come on, everybody. Let's go get those hobbits. Oh, pies. What kind of pies do you have? Oh, well, I've got blueberry.
3 years? How old did they think I am?
I'd like a pumpkin spice latte, please.
I have to go to the bathroom. Is that what people think I'm like? Am I just a younger Nathan Baylett? I don't understand. My videos are nothing like his.
Why do they call it a freeway if you have to pay a toll to drive on it?
What the hell?
Anything can be shoes if you put it on your feet.
I don't remember making these. Is this my entire YouTube channel?
Now I know you're thinking, Drew, these TikToks are all so funny and awesome, and thank you for sharing this with me, you've made my day, but you're making a whole video about this? No. I'm making part of a video about this. The rest of this video is about the book that he wrote. You heard that right. Nathan Baylett, Instagram extraordinaire and staring contest champion of the world, is also the author of a rom-com novel. And I figured if this guy is me in a few years, then this is a rare opportunity to get a glimpse into my own future. I need to read this book, cover to cover, twice. And after several weeks of research, I'm very excited to report that this is the horniest book I've read since Jake Paul's autobiography.
I'm not looking for a guy to hang, Chris said. Now I just want to bang. Yeah, Chris cheered as she slipped into her tan ankle boots, ready to jump back into the single scene vagina first. The happiness of my penis is riding on tonight working out with Vanessa. Holy tushy twerks. Holy fuckadoodles. You'll take her home in an hour so mama can get some dick.
Now that's what I call a perfect segue to today. Pancakes is possibly the most complicated book I've ever read, because despite the fact that the entire story takes place in one night, there are approximately 4,000 characters. If there were any more names in this book, he would have had to start inventing new ones. There's even a character whose body parts have their own names, i.e. Stacy the Stomach. But I must have spaced out the first time I read that because I got to a conversation between two people named Chris and Bryn, and out of nowhere it said Stacy growled, and I'm like, who the fuck is Stacy? And why is she so mad? It is almost impossible to keep track of everyone mentioned in this book, but I think I may have come up with a way to help. So the book is about Chris, girl, and Mark, boy, on the fateful night that they meet. Mark is trying to get over his ex, Jill, who left him for Jack, and Chris is trying to get over her ex, David, who left her for Lisa. So she goes out on the town with her best friend, Bryn, while Mark does the same with his best friend, Chet. Hey, can you put your phone down? This is important. After a couple hours, Chris and Bryn meet a girl named Callie, who's described as an insane person, even though she talks in the exact same way as every other character. They eventually meet up with Vanessa, who spends the entire night getting on everybody's nerves because she won't stop filming them. Meanwhile, Mark and Chet meet up with a guy named Skip, who I thought for sure would end up being the love interest of either Callie or Vanessa, but he ends up meeting a girl named Lola at one of the bars they go to on their way to Roger's friend's apartment party. His name is Anton, and he's dating Debbie. Before any of that though, Mark and Chet meet up with their friends Charles and Vicky, but they leave after 2 pages to go have sex. So then Mark and Chet go to a bar to get drinks from Bonnie the bartender, whose name is spelled 2 two different ways. There they meet Dina, Lorna, and Anna, who may sound like a band of rambunctious chipmunks, but are actually 3 human women. Things don't work out with any of them though, and they also don't work out with the girl named Melanie because she has a boyfriend. Before leaving the bar, they give their business cards to Miranda and Panda, 2 different people, but we never hear from either of them ever again. Meanwhile, Chris and Bryn share a 2-page interaction of their own with their friends Madeline and Lamar, before chatting it up with Barry the bartender, who they're both attracted to, but he's gay, I think? I don't know. Everybody in this book flirts with service workers, but they never pursue them romantically. Instead, they talk to Ron and Ian, who get into a fist fight with each other, forcing them to leave the bar. Luckily, they have somewhere to go because Chris got a text from her friend Holly, who's hanging out with Bob and Steve. Eventually, Vanessa's sister Jane joins the group, along with Sarah and the aforementioned Holly, who's dating Colin, even though nobody likes Colin. The problem with Colin is that he doesn't appreciate Holly as much as he should, but it turns out they actually broke up yesterday and just didn't tell anyone because they didn't want to spoil the mood. The irony, of course, being that news of their breakup would have only improved the mood because Colin sucks. Also, Dan is here. No one knows who Dan is, so I don't know what he's doing in the group. So that's kind of the main core of the group. But then, for seemingly no reason other than to just make things more complicated for us, Vanessa gets a text from her friend Ruby, who tells her about Hannah, Billy, Chloe, Nick, Layla, and Sarah. Now this is of course a different Sarah than the one we already met, because this Sarah has an H in her name. In fact, someone, and I truly mean someone because he does not specify who says this in a scene that has 97 people in it, says that they know 7 Sarahs. So that makes 5 additional Sarahs just hanging out in the Nathan Bailett Marina rom-com universe. Then Vanessa, who's clearly very popular, gets a text from Chantel, who updates her about Oscar, Isaac, Leo, Abby, Ezra, and Ellis, and then a text from Shane, who tells her about Camille, Blaine, Tallulah, Blair, Emma, and Blake. Now, if you're worried about having to remember all these names, don't be, because they never get brought up again. Finally, the group makes it to Roger's friend Anton's apartment building for his apartment party, but they never make it past the lobby of the apartment because Roger does something to get everyone mad, so Bryn throws a cocktail in his face, and then the police show up, and then they all go get pancakes, which you may remember from the title. All right, well, that's all of the characters in Passion or Pancakes, but you're probably wondering who ends up with who. And I'm so glad you asked. Mark ends up with Chris, and Skip ends up with Vanessa, and Holly ends up with Chet. Ooh, that's a surprise. And then finally, Bookworm Brenda ends up with Peter the Reader. A perfect match. Except Peter has a girlfriend, so he just fucks off and she ends up all alone. Well, there you have it. I know it may look like a lot to remember, but if you ever find yourself reading Passion or Pancakes, which I highly recommend, it's a great book, great gift. Mother's Day is coming up in a couple months. I know what I'll be getting my mom. I'm going to be getting her 12 copies. But if you ever find yourself reading the book and you're at all confused, feel free to open up this video and refer back to this simple chart. You're welcome. I think the only thing this story is missing is a few more downs to go with all the ups. Everything kind of just works out for everyone. There's a part where they all go to karaoke and they're a little nervous to sing, but then they sing so well that a recording of it goes viral. That's awesome. I also like that Mark's character is written to be the most perfect human man ever constructed. He is tall, he's hot, he's smart, he's funny, he's rich, he has big feet, and every woman wants to fuck him. But Mark doesn't want to fuck. He wants to love. He wants passion, not pancakes. Or maybe the other way around. I can't remember which is which. Really, the only conflict in the story is that Chris just wants to rip his clothes off and hook up with him on the spot, but Mark wants to get to know her first.
Chris paused and looked over his poundable chest, up to his thick, grippable hair, kissable, chiseled chin, and his starry eyes looking at her so nicely that she felt the warmest whoosh tinkle up thoughts of exactly how she'd climb him. So I'd have to have a relationship with you to climb your mountain and sit on your peak? Mark chuckled. I'm afraid so.
Eventually, he wins this battle. They decide to take it slow because they're a perfect match and they don't want to mess this up. This all culminates in what I think is, and I know this is going to sound hyperbolic, the single most beautiful paragraph in the history of the written word. And their fun rhythm moved them close, then apart, then back together, and over here, and over there, rockin' and swaying, to a twirl, to a deep, delicious dip, and so erotically slow back up into his strong, gentle arms for a sexy sway with a sultry stare, then starry-eyed stare, then a sweet, simple, and super sincere stare as they slowed and slowed and slowed to a sway together, a soft, slow, fun sway, just the two of them on the rooftop above the world, up in heaven, surrounded by city lights and flowers and stars and the moon and a beautiful bright green baseball field below, and everything felt wonderful, and he felt wonderful, and she felt wonderful being with him and all of this wonderful, and wow, their wonderful was a wonderful more wonderful than drunk dancing with some random dude and pulling him home for a half hour of woo-hoo. That was all one sentence. Really, these two people could not have asked for a better night out. Not only do they find their soulmate after looking for a few hours, but they manage to convert each of their best friends into the person they've wanted them to be their entire lives. So Chet is like a Barney Stinson type, right? He's constantly running into women he's slept with. He's telling Mark, don't worry about the future. Tonight, we're just gonna fucking till our fall off.
It's about love. It's about sex, Chet said. The lyrics are saying monogamy. The beat is saying sex.
That is until the end, where he's like, actually, I've changed my ways. I like Holly, and I'm a relationship guy now. Also, Brain breaks the sad news pretty early on to Chris that she's planning on moving to Los Angeles to pursue the next chapter of her life. But at the end of the book, she says, you know what? Never mind. Screw my career, screw all of my plans. I'm staying here with my family. And that's so sweet, really, but I'm doing the math over here. Like, you guys have been to at least 12 bars tonight. There's no way you're in any cognitive state to be making these kinds of life-altering decisions right now. But that's the thing. Despite the dilemma it poses in its title, Passion or Pancakes isn't about having to make difficult decisions. It's about everything working out perfectly for a group of hot drunk people. And honestly, that's the kind of story this world needs more of. So Nathan, thank you. And I'm sorry I had a full-blown existential crisis earlier when I saw 3 comments comparing us. I thought about it a lot, and I'm honored to be associated with someone who spreads as much joy as you do. In fact, I think I have a video to make. Fingers are kind of like the toes of your hands. Weeks ago, my wife heard a loud noise coming from my office, and at first she assumed I was just in here roughhousing, because that's what boys do. Only, there was just one problem with that. I wasn't home. I was at the grocery store. Shopping for groceries. So what the hell was the noise coming from my office? Well, it turns out one of these panels fell off the wall and broke the very expensive neon sign I bought a few years ago. We are gathered here today to mourn the loss of neon Hey Guy sign. Even though I never really did figure out how to light you correctly, resulting in you being nothing more than an illegible glowing aura emanating behind my head, I think I can speak for everyone here when I say, you will be missed. You were a loving friend, cousin, and sister, but even more than any of that, you were a thing that I bought. It's gonna be practically impossible to replace you. Oh, they already put something else out. Okay, now that's funny. Hey guy, welcome back to the world famous Orlando Zoo, where we only have one animal, and it's just a regular cat. If you've been following the channel for a while, then you might be aware of our beloved feline friend, Bim Bim. Last month, she had to get a couple teeth removed, which made for a pretty rough week for her. We had to spray medicine down her throat every 12 hours. She had to wear a cone 24/7, which made it hard for her to walk around. She couldn't really eat on her own because her head physically couldn't reach down far enough to pick up the food. So we had to, for the most part, feed her by hand. Every night for 9 days, I would sit there and put individual pieces of softened food into her cone for her to gobble up one by one. It was a bonding experience for sure, but we also felt bad for her the whole time. So I wanted to make it up to her by buying her a toy. And then once I did that, I started getting ads for other toys. So then obviously I bought those too, which only led me to get more ads and so on and so forth. Long story short, I have like 9 things to give her and I'm really excited to see her reaction. I think this was the first ad I got. It starts with this cat fighting for his life, trying to
to escape through a window. Oh, he's bored. No, I think he's trying to get the hell out of there.
This cat toy will let your cat entertain itself and requires no interaction from you.
Thank God. I hate interacting with the animal I'm supposed to take care of. If I could just hand her an iPad, I would, but that only works with toddlers.
Your cat will instinctively try to catch it, and it will bounce back to where it was. Then your cat
Okay,
will try
but
to
does
catch
this
it
give them
again,
endless
and
fun and
endless
activity?
fun.
Oh, it does. Weirdly though, I got another ad for the exact same product, but from a different company. And they were saying all the same things, but just more annoying because they were using that TikTok AI voice.
You won't need to do anything.
And the text formatting at the end is the same, but the websites are different? Hey, but this one has a 60-day guarantee. Guarantee of what? We guarantee that you will have this for 60 days. And if you thought there's no way a piece of junk like this could cost more than $40, you were right, actually, but just not by much. Another very similar ad, but for a different toy. Yeah, I don't know if bored is the right word to describe that clip. I think a better caption would have been, my cats were trying to kill each other, so I bought them something else to attack instead. It's got smart sensing technology, it moves on its own. Hubba hubba. I like how they say it avoids obstacles as they show it running into one. I think Bim Bim would maybe engage with this unless it's very loud, in which case she'll just stare at it from across the room without blinking. Okay, well, probably not a great sign that the first review I saw is 3 stars. Very loud. It's cool, cats like it. Can't say they play with it, but they follow it around wondering what it is.
Honey, I got you that giant basketball hoop for your birthday, and you haven't touched it once. Yeah, I haven't touched it or played with it, but I've looked at it.
What the hell is this thing? When I saw this pop up on Instagram, I was like, this is the greatest invention that's ever been made. I will pay infinite money for this. But nowhere in the comments was a link to buy it, which was confusing because I could see the box for it in the video. This is a product that someone purchased, but all the comments are just about how to make one yourself from scratch. I'm not gonna construct a pool table. Who do you think I am? Yeah, I have a large toolbox in my garage, but it's purely decorative. So I thought I was shit out of luck until another reel popped up a few days later, this one with a link right at the top.
I got my cat a pool table. It is actually made for cats, and it was way bigger than I expected. This is my hand for comparison.
Okay, well that doesn't really help because I don't know how big your hand is. There's not a universal size for hands. You're supposed to put an object I'm familiar with next to your hand so I know how big your hand is, and then put your hand on a pool table. Otherwise, I have no sense of scale. Next up, we've got actually the same guy from before with a cat-sized net, so they can experience the warmth and excitement of the outside world without any of the danger. This may just be the perfect product for Bim Bim. I know she wants to see the world. If she could do VR, I would hook it up for her in an instant. The only reason we don't let her freely roam outside is because if she did, she would immediately get killed. I live in Florida, all right? If she goes outside, an alligator will shoot her with a gun. So here's another toy called the Walloon Ball. Bloom? I'm sure at this point most of the good company names are already taken, but if you're gonna make up a word, at least make it one that's actually possible to say. The guy in the ad can't even say it.
The Powerball from Bloom?
Which is surprising because the rest of his voiceover work in this is really solid.
You can easily charge it too with the USB cable it comes with. I mean,
nailed it. All right, $22 for a battery-powered ping pong ball. Gotta love that. It says it's quiet. I don't believe you. There are still instincts in every cat. Didn't know that. Which is why cats are incredibly fond of catching. It's their favorite game. Hey, not all cats like the same games. Bim Bim's favorite game is American Truck Simulator. She doesn't just play catch. She's not a caveman. Here's a product that straight up just looks like garbage. Like it looks like someone literally pulled it out of a dumpster and started selling it online. And they didn't even crop the ad right, which is very funny to me. Spoil your kitty with the new Ganlotta Cat Scratch. More bored cats. Ratchable surface. Eat long nails. Eat joy is priceless. That little one runs. Don't worry though, I saved the best for last. Or at least the AI-generated text in this ad is telling me it's the best. The new home. It is a tunnel inside. Scratch-resistant and non-sticky hair. Sit cozy on the top, comfortable to stay. Designed for their nature. I guess that's true. Their nature is to hide. Knowing Bim Bim though, she won't trust this thing enough to get inside of it. She won't think of it as a place to hide from danger. She'll think that it is the danger. Like I just have a feeling she's not gonna go anywhere near this. Which is why I have to buy it to find out. Oh wait, it's usable in all season, right? Oh, okay, good.
So last night I was slightly intoxicated
and I decided to open up one of the things I had ordered, and I had no idea what it was, because all these things, they come from the most random places, the most random websites. I don't know what I'm opening until I see what's inside. And I spent so long trying to decipher what this is. I was like, when the hell did I order 2 cowboy hats? I look like I'm the owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. Oh, this is like the thing that they're supposed to run around in or something. So far, she's scared of it because it's making noise. If something makes any noise, she doesn't like it. I wouldn't have hated getting instructions. I wouldn't have been mad if they told me what to do with this zipper. This is kind of embarrassing to admit, but it took me 7 minutes to figure out how to assemble this. All right, this is what I got so far. Does it go like this? Because that doesn't really make sense. None of this makes sense.
What the hell did I buy?
You know that meme where Joe Biden can't figure out the 2-piece puzzle? Well, that was me, except in my case, the puzzle pieces were 2 upside-down cowboy hats you had to zip together. And it's as easy as that. All right, there it is in all its glory. Little cave in there to roam around in. What does she think? She's not even looking. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Doesn't seem like she's that excited for it. I think she's just glad I'm done so I can pay attention to her.
The fuck?
Oh, yeah. She loves it. Well, it doesn't seem like she wants anything to do with it, so... First impression test, fail. If only I knew what was going on inside that giant brain of hers. Is she trying to thank me, or does she just like the way my hair tastes? Cats are such a mystery. I think in order for her to trust something like this, it's gonna have to sit in one spot for several days so she doesn't think that it'll move. If it's just like in the corner like this, you know, maybe she'll slowly venture over there. All right, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is she went inside the cat tunnel. The bad news is it was one time for 2 seconds, and that was a week ago, so I don't think she's ever stepping foot in there ever again. Anytime we've ever tried to buy her a cat bed or some kind of surface for her to sit on, she doesn't even perceive it as an option. She likes to sit on the human couch and the human bed because that's where we sit. The only place she regularly sits that we don't is inside my guitar case. She'll sprawl out and fill every nook and cranny like it was custom molded for her body. Not only is this cute as hell, but it's nice to know that if I ever join a band where the instrument I play is the cat, I've got an easy way to take her to all our shows. This is the accordion looking thing I bought. Nope. I think she just doesn't like that it went from being small to being huge. If it can do that, then what else can it do? Okay. Awesome. Play with it. God, this is such a piece of junk. It's like, it's just cardboard. How do I get it inside? Nice. Okay. Well, she loves the ball. I don't think she cares about the tube at all.
She's also hungry.
Yeah, she's also like, all right, will this get me food? Is there food inside here? It's 5:40 right now. We feed her at 6 o'clock every day, so she knows it's getting close. She can tell from the position of the sun, as you can hear in the background.
Come here.
The smart sensor's pretty good so far. It says it avoids obstacles, and if it hits stuff, it's supposed to like back up and like reroute. It did immediately get stuck under the ottoman, but it's kind of just going in a circle now. That's one way to avoid obstacles.
Get it, baby.
Come on.
Go get it.
She wants it to move because she wants to play with it, but she's also scared of it when it moves. We decided to give her a break from this because it's hard to tell if she's having fun or is just scared and overwhelmed. I mean, either way, she is scared, but is it the good kind of scary, you know, like riding a roller coaster? I want her to have fun, but not if it stresses her out too much. So this is called the Vitreska Meow Nooker cat toy set. She's eating right now. She's gonna be so excited.
That's so cute.
I actually do really like this. And we don't have a pool table ourselves, so we can play with this too. Wow, this looks awesome. This is my hand for scale. Man, they got my ass building something after I explicitly asked them not to. You wanna play with this? I know you like this.
Nice shot!
You wanna play with one of the balls? Nope. It took a lot of courage for you to come over here, and I commend you for that, Bim Bim. Oh, there's catnip in there, that's why. I thought she was just sniffing a box. I didn't realize. Caught you red-handed, Bim Bim. Okay, why don't I put the drugs on the table?
This right here could be the biggest moment of his career.
I did it. Okay, and she pulled it out. Wow, she likes the blue ball. All right, well, I have to go get ready to leave soon, but I'm going to leave the camera running to see if, in private, she has the confidence to play pool.
I didn't do fucking shit!
So far, I have some evidence that she's enjoying the toys. For example, every night I'll put the pool balls on the table and I say, don't touch those. These have to stay right here. Reverse psychology. And then in the morning, I notice they're strewn all around the house. What happened here? Someone get a little silly last night. I talked about this in that quarantine video we made a couple years ago, but Bim Bim is so self-conscious. She loves to play, but hates to be seen. It's like she feels that having fun is beneath her, so she doesn't want anyone to know about it. If I want to see her go insano style, I have to set up a secret camera and go to the other side of the house. It's the only way I can get her to be her true self. Now, could I have saved some money on the pool table and just bought 6 soft little balls instead? Yeah, it would appear so. She's not really playing by the rules here, even though I've explained them several times.
Hey, you're supposed to use the stick, Bim Bim. You have to hit the balls with the stick.
She also could not care less about the cardboard accordion trash sphere. Again, she just likes the ball, which is funny because we've bought balls like that before and she never gave a shit about them until now. I honestly think the fact that it's part of something else, so she knows she's doing it a little bit wrong, is why she likes it. Cats are natural born contrarians. It doesn't matter the circumstances, they just like going against the grain. The last 2 toys we got, not including the big cat net, were the feather on a stick and the Walloon ball.
I mean, you can change the color, but I don't... Oh, God.
We do not care.
She likes to be the one to move the balls. She doesn't like when they move on their own, I don't think. No, that was the cutest little backstep.
Like the rest of the toys, I could see a different cat that isn't as terrified of everything as Bim Bim is enjoying this toy. But what annoys me about it is that they lie. They said it's quiet. Does this sound quiet to you? It shouldn't, it's loud as shit. And ironically, even though she's had moments where she's played with the balls from every other toy, this product, which is in its entirety a ball, she has no interest in. Last and possibly least is the toy from Leo's Paw. I have to say, I think I misinterpreted the ads here. I thought this was battery powered in some way. I thought based on how much they emphasized this being a self-sufficient toy that you don't have to interact with, that it would be, you know, a self-sufficient toy that you don't have to interact with. But Bim Bim will only bat at it if I'm holding the other end. Which is fine, we play with her like that all the time, but that's not how it was advertised. I also didn't realize that it's not sticking to the ground with a suction cup, it's sticking to the ground because the bottom is sticky. So if you put it in one spot and then decide later that you change your mind and want to put it somewhere else, or maybe you just want to pack it up for the night, you have to scrape and claw at the tape to get it off the ground, at which point the tape is no longer usable. So that's not great. This was $40. I could have bought an extra 1.5 Walloon balls with that. And after putting it off all week, it was finally time to take her journey outside.
All right, the only thing left to do now is ask Bim Bim in her own language how she feels about all her toys. So I got a free trial for a cat translator app. Hey Bim Bim, what do you think of all the toys that I got you? And now Bim Bim responds. Bim Bim's feeling a little quiet today. Oh wait, no, it worked. Okay, Bim Bim said, I am hungry. That's incredible. So remember, fellow cat owners out there, if your cat ever says this, That means it's dinner time.
Using the incredible power found within the Cat Translator app, I was able to ask Bim Bim to rank all of these products. Keep in mind, this is not in any way unbiased. These have been ranked strictly on the Bim Bim Fun scale, and she's very particular. The Catnet goes in A tier for giving us a way to introduce her to the outside world. She was a little scared at first, but she stuck it out because she's so brave and we're so proud. The Snake gets a C, pretty good value for something she at least paid attention to. She doesn't play with it, but she follows it around wondering what it is. The Pool Table and the Circular Trash Tube go in B, the B standing for ball was fun, didn't care about the rest. The Cat Tunnel and Feather Stick both go in D, the D stands for didn't care about any of it. The Walloon Ball gets an F for having a stupid brand name, my words, and for not being fun, her words. And that means that All Alone in triple S tier for the 9th year in a row is our big winner, Crumpled Up Piece of Paper. Wow, what an upset. The crowd does not like that one, but something about that little balled up receipt paper just fucking does it for Bim Bim. You can try to design something smarter, but you're simply wasting your time. You'd think maybe your owners would learn by now to stop blowing so much money trying to find something better when the perfect toy already exists for free. Back to you, Drew.